how good is it, Grella, to see Bodø and to see the atmosphere that they have? Because they really were the Cinderella side of the Europa League last season, and now to get to see them do it against Europe's elite is pretty special.
They're a pure story because most teams, you have two things going for you. You either have a massive budget so you can attract huge players, or you live in a really good place, right? Like Milan or Rome or Naples or, I don't know, in London somewhere, right? And so you can attract players that way. They don't have either. They have a very moderate budget. They live in the Arctic Circle, so it's not a place like you're saying. If I called my wife now and say, hey, listen, we're moving to the Arctic Circle, I don't know if she'd be so happy with me. So how do they find this success and win this many European games? Through the football that they play, the identity of the football. They play with the ball on the ground, little patterns, triangles, short passes, repress after loss. They stick to who they are all the time. So they're a difficult team to play against. I know at the end of that piece, they say we're used to rough climate, we're used to these atmospheres. I'm not so sure how used you can get to Galatasaray Stadium and playing away in Turkey. I think it's a really difficult place to play your football. It's
true, because Galatasaray Rams Park is so loud, Tony, but there's so many teams that just won't want to go on the road trip of having to go to the Arctic Circle, right, to play their away game.
No doubt, and they're really good at home, and for whatever reason, they can't figure it out away from home. So there is an advantage, but obviously today, for them, they'll have to deal with a different atmosphere there. Yeah, there's certain places, right, that are just difficult to go. And when you travel that far, sometimes some of these bigger clubs, you have to think like, oh, we got to go there. You know, we have to go there and play. And I think it's this northmost or the second northmost, right, in all of Europe.
Yeah, so it's the northernmost in all of Europe. And on top of that, they play on turf.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. And it's a small stadium. We were just talking about, was it Lazio last year, where they just it was like our first introduction to Bodø Glimt. They completely picked them apart. And you're like, who are these players, you know? Then you dig a little bit deeper and see there is some talent in this side. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt. I mean, it got us thinking about some of the toughest away days in European football, Nico, and you're going to give us your top 5, right?
Okay, let's do it. Yes, because, listen, I didn't just want to make it like who's the toughest team at home. There's a lot of criteria and a lot of thought that I put into this to decide what are the top 5 toughest places to play away in this Champions League season. So I took into consideration how intimidating the atmosphere is, the venue's history, and how good that team is at home. And not only that, how much better they become at home rather than playing away, or their overall production in the Champions League. For example, Bodø Glimt is a really good a team that falls into this criteria because they're so much better at home than they are away. And then how comfortable you would be taking a draw in a second leg to this stadium. So here's my top 5 without further ado, and my 5th team is Galatasaray. I think there is a very unique, magical atmosphere at the Ali Sami Yen. Galatasaray aren't a particularly strong team when you compare them across the best teams in the Champions League, but it is so tough to go to Istanbul, to go to Galatasaray. We've seen Manchester United historically go there and not be able to get the win. Bayern, even a couple of seasons ago, struggled at the Ali Sami Yen, and, well, Liverpool just last match day was really tough for them. So Istanbul there, number 5. So then number 4, I'm actually considering Atlético Madrid. It does go against one of my criteria, which means the history of the stadium. But when you renovate into a modern European stadium, I think you lose a lot of the essence of what originally was in your original stadium, right? And that's the Vicente Calderón. They've managed to keep that, though, Atlético Madrid in the Metropolitano. And it is raucous. It is intimidating. It's tough to go to Atlético Madrid, even when Atlético Madrid aren't a good football team. So that's my number 4. Then my number 3 is Liverpool. Anfield on a European night is something magical. I've been there. There's something in the air with the lights and how the way that they clap, that they get behind the team. Anfield really pushes. And I think obviously that the one prime example is that they came back from 3-0 down against Barcelona on that one. All right. Then my number 2 is Bayern. Bayern at home? Try to beat Bayern at home on a Champions League night. Very few teams do it. In fact, in the league phase / group phase, they're virtually unbeatable. The last team to beat them in this instance was Manchester City, like 38 games ago. And then number 1, I think it speaks for itself, Santiago Bernabéu. We know about the magic of the Santiago Bernabéu and how many teams have even brought a lead to the Santiago Bernabéu and lost it just because of how intimidating and how impressive the Santiago Bernabéu. It's alive. It really is on a Champions League.
Where did Dortmund sit in that while you were doing that? Just curious.
So would you rather take, so when I was considering Dortmund, would you rather take a lead to Dortmund or to Galatasaray?
Or Atletico
question.
Madrid.
Or I would rather take a lead to Dortmund over Atlético Madrid.
Even Atleti this year, right? They haven't won away from home, just like yesterday. They haven't lost at home this year, so it lives true to what you're saying, how difficult. I'd rather take a lead anywhere, but of those two.
Right. And where's it most likely that you lose that lead?
I probably wouldn't want to go to Turkey with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Any arguments from you, Grella?
No, I thought it was excellent. Excellent job. I enjoyed that a
Perfect
lot.
order.
Like,
I mean, we talked about Bodø Glimt being a tough place to go, and they didn't make the list. That threw me for a little bit.
Yeah.
But maybe they were 6th or 7th.
Around there, and Dortmund is probably 6th or 7th too.
right.
But it's like then you consider the quality of the team. I think I'd rather take a lead to Bodø Glimt than I would to
But
Dortmund.
it's difficult with the climate and with where
turf.
you are geographically and the pitch conditions, right? Not necessarily
That was a
the
great job, man. That was
intimidating
fun.
atmosphere.
Thanks.